Welcome back to The Ed Show, and thanks for watching tonight. Now that Osama bin Laden has been killed, the big conversation in America and the big issue is whether the administration should release the death photo. Here's what CIA Director Leon Panetta had to say to Brian Williams today about that.
The government obviously has been talking about how best to do this, but I don't think there was any question that ultimately a photograph would be presented to the public. Obviously, I've seen those photographs. We've analyzed them, and there's no question that it's bin Laden. I think there's no question that there were concerns and there were questions that had to be debated about just exactly what kind of impact would these photos have. But the bottom line is that, we got bin Laden, and I think we have to reveal to the rest of the world the fact that we were able to get him and kill him.
He says, and I think we have to reveal to the rest of the world the fact that we were able to get him and kill him. Well, look, in our culture here in America, we see worse stuff on TV, don't we? We see worse stuff in the movies. Hollywood shows tough pictures all the time. And war, of course, we've had our share of it. And we're not going to be exposed to anything that we really haven't seen before, but we're in this high-stakes game of getting along with everybody across the globe, and it could be offensive to other cultures. That's the tightrope that the United States government is walking right now. We can callously say right here, well, what's the big deal? Let's just see the photo. We don't like the guy anyway. He killed 3,000 Americans. We'd like to see proof of it. Well, the fact is that in other cultures, it may not be received that way, and we could turn off a lot of people as well. Let's bring in the executive director of the San Francisco chapter of CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, Zara Ballou. Zara, good to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time. The Obama administration is concerned about the reaction of the Muslim world if these photos of Osama bin Laden are released. How do you see this, and how do you feel that the Muslim world will respond to this?
Thanks for having me on, Ed. I think you're right. It's a tightrope. It's a very fine line. There are a lot of people in the Arab and Muslim world. We've heard from people in Pakistan who have doubts about whether or not, he was really captured and killed, and are afraid that maybe it's not true, that maybe he is still sort of amongst them. And so there's a very immediate need for proof, and at the same time, I think that it needs to be done with a level of humanity, right? So in the same way that pictures were released of Saddam's sons several years ago to prove that they too had been killed. This isn't a new question, but it is always a difficult one.
Do you think the Muslim world wants to see the picture?
I think that there are people in the Muslim world, clearly I can't speak for all of them, but I do think that there are people in the Muslim world who want to know whether or not this is real. I mean, there have been several scares there have been several other attempts at telling us that Osama bin Laden has passed away. And so I think people need to see proof. And again, the way we do it is what's going to be key to ensure that we don't, inflame his supporters. One of the things that I think has been on everyone's minds is the test of our humanity is really how we treat the worst of us. And I think we would all agree that Osama bin Laden is the worst of us. But how do we treat him even post-death?
But he represented a fraction of those in the culture. He was not the mainstream. He was an extremist. He was a murderer. And is it a bridge too far to say that there might be a lot of Muslims in this country that in this world that do not want any conspiracy theories, that want this put to rest once and for all? And this is just part of the process that we have to accept. Your thoughts on that? Absolutely.
I mean, I think that most of us, Muslims and those even who aren't, want to see the conspiracy theories put to rest, want to see America and sort of the world move on, at least from this one very dark chapter in our history. At the same time, we have to be cognizant of the fact that there are going to always be people who find a method of putting out conspiracies, particularly in an era when Photoshop is so commonly available. I imagine that even if we release the pictures, as important as that is in proving to those who would believe them, that there will still be detractors.
And is there a way to do this? I mean, a picture is 1,000 words. Is there a special manner in which it should be handled within the culture where it would not be offensive? How could a picture of a man who's had half of his head blown off not be offensive to some?
You know, I'm honestly not sure. I think that it would be worthwhile to look at how the pictures of Saddam's sons were released, at sort of the reaction to the video of Saddam's hanging, and then maybe compare sort of the method that was used at that time, and hopefully sort of keep a fine line of saying, like, we're only doing this to prove the claim that we've captured him, but we're not, you know, this isn't something that we're doing to celebrate or to deface the community or the culture. I think people really do want proof, particularly in the village of Abbottabad, but also in sort of that part of the world, to know that they too can move on.
In the American Islamic community, can you give us a sense of how this has affected the Islamic community in this country? Is this a good thing? Is it something that the Islamic community was looking forward to happening? And how would you judge their response?
I think that, you know, the best way to describe it is that there was a very heavy sigh of relief when we heard the news. It indicated, hopefully, that we were making progress, that these past 10 years and everything that we've seen in the past 10 years, from the wars abroad to the erosion of civil liberties, but also sort of all of the violent murders that this man was responsible for, have now come to an end. I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done to rebuild over the past 10 years and to ensure that he doesn't have predecessors who are following after him and, you know, following in his reign. And so I think there's a lot of work that remains to be done, but people are somber, reflective, and also grateful.
Zahra Balloo from CARE, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I appreciate it.